Good afternoon, everyone. This is 1st of July, and here we go with a new live stream. We're going to check out the five main markets, the ETF, the commodity, the Forex and stocks, and the crypto. We will take a look on the overall point and figuring out what kind of moves we are expecting from these market sectors. And of course, for pro members, we're going to check charts as well. So break it down, all the market sectors, and we are looking for the opportunities. But before we do this, the great debate has happened, and Joe Biden, withdrawn from the public, was aggressively prepared, while Donald Trump was rallying, and many says Biden lost in the 9th minute, but I found validation at several points. First of all, I did not expect Biden's entrance. I thought during his withdrawal, they would boost the old man with some secret American method, and he would burst onto a stage with the vigor of an 18-year-old. But instead, his entrance was exactly like my grandmother's at 91 years old after a hip fracture. So I wondered if CNN's 2-minute delay in live broadcasting was enough to erase the Walker from the frames or not, but that remains a question. In the first 3 minutes, however, it was clear there was some kind of brain implant, as Biden conclusively rattled off a lot of evidence about his administration's good deeds with robotic precision. So I'd suggest James Cameron write his next sci-fi movie from this fantasy screenplay. I detect signs of cocaine in the air a little bit. I don't know how you are with these guys. Then Biden deteriorated. Well, that was weird. The flood of lies and babble made it clear that there is no drug or secret American method that can make that man out of the old guy. So since then, news agencies have been talking about panic, a democratic crisis, and the old man not running for re-election. Maybe. It's an interesting narrative that suddenly everyone is shocked by how serious and advanced Biden's dementia is, as if it were something they didn't know until now. But this is nothing more than an excuse set up, by the way, so just so everyone knows. In reality, two things matter here. What the leaders of the Democratic Party, or I should say what the leader of the Democratic Party, Barack Obama, and Ms. Pelosi say. We can expect intelligent play from Obama. While news agencies report that he would replace Biden, his tweets state exactly the opposite. Because what he says, that bad debate nights happen, trust me, I know, but this election is still a choice between someone who has fought for ordinary folks his entire life and someone who only cares about himself. That's the usual narrative, what they say. Between someone who tells the truth, which I think is Trump, who knows right from wrong and will give it to American people straight, and someone who lies through his teeth for his own benefit. Last night didn't change that, and it is why so much is at stake in November. Now, he was talking about Biden, obviously, but if we just flip around, that would be a scenario that he's actually talking about Trump, and that's why he did not mention any name. Of course, this is just a conspiracy theory, and it's completely not true. I give a very, very low percentage of chance of that. But still, this is still a narrative, and Obama says that he wants to keep Biden on top. But that news agencies are stating something else. So Obama's side is ambitious. Miss Pelosi is similarly unstable as Biden, so it's no wonder she thinks Biden was great and Trump lied the whole time. This is a serious medical case that results in brain malfunction. So when Biden claimed he beat the American healthcare system, she heard this statement in Trump's voice, I think, and just as she did when he said his son died in Iraq. However, since no one understood what Biden was talking about at some point, Ms. Pelosi couldn't interpret it either. So, that makes a very, very weird situation. But yeah, I don't know how much Ms. Pelosi's word is important because those Democrats believe in her, whoever served in the Senate and the House. So in summary, no one, and literally no one, dares to replace Biden, because then Miss Kamala would be the first female president. And if anyone has seen the movie Don't Look Up, they know what this could lead to. So this scenario is too much, even for Democrats. And at this point, the Republicans are probably praying for Biden to stay alive until the elections and avoid this woman. However, the challenge is who they would nominate instead. So this will soon be revealed, I'm sure, but in my opinion, Gavin Newsom has sufficiently ruined the state of California to earn recognition from the Democratic Party. So that looks kind of good for the Democrats. So whatever happens, the Dominion voting machines would prefer Gavin because, even they couldn't endure another 4 years of Biden administration. So yes, it's too much even for the machines. And the old man couldn't easily give up considering his condition. So it is certain that in this case, another Biden administration, I would invest my money in stunt doubles and mask making industries, as they will probably profiting greatly if that happens, but I'm sure it's not going to happen. So that was a very weird debate, and it was devastating to the American people. And let me just send a nice and smooth message to Democrats. So now most of you start to realize that what is going on with Biden, because that was almost live. There was no chance to save him. And so most of Democrats are realizing that something is wrong with this man, that something wasn't true in the media, what you heard. Now, this is the first step. However, you're still saying that Trump is a liar. You're still saying that he is a convicted felon. And you're still saying everything bad about him because that's what you heard. But on the next step, it will be slowly clear that everything you're blaming Trump for was a lie. And I would like to send you a message about that. Once you realize that, and once you coming into sense, and you taking your votes to the right place, because you really want to save America. Everyone wants to save America. I know that. But once you do that, I would like to assure you that you don't need to apologize for your mistake, because you mistaken the Democratic Party. You judged Trump on the wrong way. You don't need to apologize, because at some point, Republicans also need to understand that there is like half of the population has been lied badly. And so they've been misdriven about the facts. And I think it's a good thing. I think Republicans will accept this and they will forgive without any kind of apologize. So that's important. That's a message. Some not going to like me about that, but this is the truth. And I think this represents the United States as the best. And for now, let's see how the market sectors are reacted for that and what can we figure out for the next couple of days, maybe the next few weeks as well. We're going to see the technical charts as well for the pro members. But first of all, let's just start with the ETF and the index market. As you can see, the macroeconomic point did not change. That means it's still negative. It has a negative effect on the ETF market. So that means that roughly 17% of the movements on the ETF market is happening because of the macroeconomic effect. And that's at the point of minus 10 right now. So it's fairly negative, but it's unchanged compared to last week. So there is no any lower point right now, which I don't think it's a good news, but at least we are unchanged. The geopolitics, however, went down with 1 point from -8 to -9. And that's not a good thing. Tensions are arising between the NATO and Russia, and that situation creates even more serious problems. Meanwhile, we talked about a lot, and we continuously talking about that on the Discord server, but also the Middle East problem is just widening, and that's not something the world wants. This is not something that the ETF market wants, and the stock market in general. So we had to get the point down to -9. The corporate earnings, the points of the corporate earnings did not change, is remaining at -7. Meanwhile, the news improved just a little bit because now the focus is on Biden and Trump and the Democratic Party. and the devastating debate. And so there is a little bit less focus on how much, for example, the Nvidia CEO is selling his shares, because he's selling a lot, but it is not in the news anymore. So we got a good and great distraction from this. And I think people, not going to focusing on that very important fact, because that's the only thing which really keeps up Nasdaq in the S&P 500. So we had to lift the point a little bit from -3 to -2, but it's still negative. It's just a matter of time when the news start to talk about the negative, stuff regarding the ETF market again. So the reaction of the market sentiment is very, very interesting, because for, the debate thing and other bad things. So it looks like the market sentiment is a little bit detaching from the narrative what the news trying to represent, because the news are improving, but at the same time, the market sentiment is declining from -3 to -5. And that may be a little bit good news for us, because that means that people are actually using their brain sometimes, and so they're reacting on the way they're supposed to. They're a little bit in late, but anyway. However, the technical picture is not changing overall on the ETF market, which means what I told you last week, that the market is still stalling, and it's waiting for a turnaround or a breakout to the upside. It depends on how the market will react. It depends on what's going to happen in the world. But right now, we're not supporting many of the upside breakout. And so the overall point, and this is very interesting, the overall point is coming back to -35 from -33. And so as you can see, we had a decline, a very strong decline, and then we made a correction to the upside a little bit from -35 to -33, and then we are coming back to -35. And this is extremely important, because overall, about the overall points, so the stalling after the downward wave, what I just explained, suggests that no buying power is on the market, on the ETF market. And this means the market is really vulnerable by the option market and, of course, the DXY. So we are better keep an eye on the VIX and the DXY this week. So overall, the slow market is always an opportunity for bears, but there is no sign of them just yet. So we need to focus on the VIX, as I mentioned, and every US macro data that has relatively large effect on the DXY. So inflationary numbers, things like that. We are looking for data with positive effects for the currencies, and we are looking for a possible breakout to the upside from the DXY, because then we will get this negative effect on the ETF market, most probably, because otherwise we are missing the volume. We are missing the trading. And so the options market still remaining a question, but we're going to have a look on the VIX today, at the VIX chart, and you will understand why we have relatively larger chance to go to the upside on the VIX rather to the downside, which means that's negative for the S&P 500. So it's a very, very important conclusion about the ETF market. Keep that in mind. And if you're a pro member, you can find these documents on the website, and you can check it anytime. Even if you have any kind of question about these documents, so what that means, how we are calculating, you can even ask me to explain to you once again what that means exactly, how do we interpret this point, for example, and things like that. I am very happy to answer these questions. So moving forward, here is the... let me just check the stock market next, because these two are really strongly related. And so here is the stock market. Similar effects, because the macroeconomics staying unchanged at -10. Geopolitics are declining 1 point. No change on the corporate earnings. It's very negative, by the way. Market news, that's one difference between the stock market and the ETF index market, that the market news is very, very negative, but it's unchanged. So it's not improving. At the same time, the market sentiment is on the same way, is declining from -3 to -5, and the technicals are also declining. And so there will be a difference between the ETF overall point and the stock market overall point. And as you can see, we are declining further from -44 to -46. It's not even 1 point anymore. It's 2 points. So yes, there is a little slowdown compared to the previous decline from -38 to -44. So we are slowed down a little bit in decline, but we are still declining. And that means only one thing. So the stock market is now officially much more negative than the ETF market. with a new declining overall point. So this is very supportive for bears and the bear trend overall within stocks, not socks, sorry, but also suggests that the ETF market is barely alive and soon could turning into extreme negative. And if that happens without the stock market overall point improves, we definitely will see a strong correction on both market sectors, the stock market and the ETF market. So, there are points we need to complete. So this point must remain negative, and we need to see some kind of negative development on the ETF market, and then we will see the negative reaction on both of the market sectors. So very interesting difference between the two. However, it's talking to us very strongly what is about to happen if everything is aligned with the prediction and with the possibilities. So going forward, commodity market, as you can see, macroeconomic effect on the commodity market is unchanged at positive 12 points. Geopolitics is unchanged at positive 17 points. Market news and events is improving from 4 to 5. This is very, very good. Market sentiment, however, did not change, but at least we don't have the decline. That's really good. And we are still in positive territory. And the technicals are improving from 1 to 2 points. Now, that means a lot of important things. First of all, the overall point is increasing from 39 to 41. And that's a good news. That's a very good news because we don't have a breakout from this corrective movement, but at the same time, we are at least making a correction to the upside again, which means the decline stop of the overall point, suggesting a break in the general profit taking on the commodity market. So the market sentiment doesn't show accelerated interest unless unexpected event happen in the upcoming few days, but it is a good opportunity to look for positives. And there are the non-cyclicals, safe havens, and some of the essentials as well. So there I expect positive movement for the upcoming 3 trading days. And that's why we're going to have a look at a couple of charts today, because we need to identify the opportunities. Here is the Forex market. As you can see, the macroeconomic effect on the Forex market did not change compared to last week. So it's remaining at minus 11 point. Geopolitics are declining from -2 to -3. That's a bad news, by the way. The market news is remaining at 0 point because we got distracted by this Trump-Biden thing. Market sentiment and psychology is remaining at -2 point. Technicals are remaining at -6 point. So it is an interesting situation because today the effect, the market drivers like news, sentiment, and technicals, they are able to drive the market on the short term. And they did not change a single point. While we have a change on one of the market driver, which is responsible for the long-term movement, and this is the geopolitics. Now, I don't really know why I still don't see the overall points. Let me just zoom out once again. It may be my Prezi is just not as good as it's supposed to be. Let me just make a refresh on this side, and it doesn't change. That's bad. Anyway, as you can see, because there is no change from here, we got 1 point decline compared to last week. And so the new slightly declining overall point, what we cannot see right now, unfortunately, but you can find on the website if you're a pro member. So because of the new slight decline on the overall point, somewhat justifies the turning point and gives some chances to the DXY on the upside. So it's a very, very good environment before the next interest rate decision from the Fed. And it looks like we were right to suggest that the interest rate difference is too big opportunity for banks to miss it. So therefore, I believe the main trends will be driven by this factor unless something unexpected comes up. Well, there are chances for that, as we know it. So this means the DXY might heading higher while other currencies are weakening according to the main trend, at least. So however, we still need the technical confirmation for this theory. So don't forget to check the technical charts. So the focus of the week on the Forex market is technical charts, mainly focus on the DXY as the dominant currency. And that's what we're going to do. And here is the crypto market. And as you can see, the macroeconomic effect did not change. It's remaining at -8 point. Geopolitics did not change, remaining on +3. Market news and events are increasing from 4 to 5. This is very good news. The market sentiment and psychology, however, did not change, remaining up at 7 point, and the technicals are improving from 1 to 2. So this is why the overall point is increasing from 6 to 9. And this is amazing. So it is very easy, because according to the point increase in overall point, I expect a few positive days for the larger caps crypto assets, and therefore probably the easiest market sector for the intraday traders in the next 2 to 3 days approximately. So all the best, everybody. This has a very good chance. But before we go forward, let me just show you something. On the crypto market, if you go and try, make sure you pay attention for this chart. This is the overall volume chart, which is available only for Trade on the Market members. So if you want to know the change of this chart, request it. I think we have live charts as well for that, so you can check it on the pro server, because we need to exceed the green line. And if we exceed the green line and the total market cap is going to the upside, this is a very, very, very good news for the Bitcoin for the next 2 to 3 days. Okay, so that's important. And now we're going to turn to the technical charts for the pro members.